Who do you think the next Labour Prime Minister is going to be? Is it perhaps David Lammy, the embattled Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary?
Calamity Lammy strikes again. It's a national embarrassment.
Well, despite claiming he's put in the toughest ever measures on prisoner releases, somehow he keeps on losing dangerous felons. Prisoners being released early are now at record highs, by the way.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
How could we forget Ed Miliband, the ukulele enthusiast and energy secretary, who promised a $300 cut to your energy bills. But of course, instead, bills are rising by at least £100 this year. We also heard spurious rumours today that he's gunning for Rachel Reeves's job as Chancellor. What do you make of that? Well, not him? OK, well, how do you feel about tax extraordinaire, who some might say thinks the rules only apply to some?
There's one rule for them and one rule for all of us.
From working class heroine to owning a luxury seaside apartment, Angela Rayner is seen as Labour's secret weapon. I will admit she's a political chameleon, fitting in wherever she goes, including in a mosque.
My voters were very upset with the Labour Party. I was with you and you saw me over the line. You supported me in seats that are similar to mine. People lost their seat. You were there for me, and I don't believe I could have done that without you.
Well, her publisher says her new memoir will be an empowering vision for a fairer, kinder society that will enable everyone to flourish. It will spark change, they say. Sounds a little bit like a manifesto, doesn't it? Or how about the woman who's meant to be crushing the illegal migrant crisis, Shabana Mahmood?
We're still here at Skibenia, where another boat of refugees has arrived over from Turkey, and the layout is that there's a clothes station where they can get some dry clothes, and then there's a medic station, and then there's some food. All of this is being provided primarily by young volunteers, and honestly, I take my hat off to them. Some of these people don't have very much.
Yes, well, Shabana Mahmood has undergone a rapid public image shift. Previously an activist aiding illegal migrants entering European countries, she now wants to appear to be the tough medicine that will be solving this illegal migrant crisis. Do you buy it? However, there's another person as well. What about the so-called moderate Health Secretary Wes Streeting, the man that banned puberty blockers?
Cass review made clear that there is not enough evidence about the long-term effects of using puberty blockers to treat gender incongruence to know whether they are safe or beneficial. That evidence should have been established before they were ever prescribed for this purpose.
Ah, well, just last week, Streeting gave the green light for puberty blockers to be used in a medical experiment on children. That doesn't sound like the man who sticks to his word, does it? And finally, there is another dark horse of the competition, little trumpet hater and now deputy leader of the Labour Party, Lucy Powell. Remember when she said this when talking about grooming gangs?
You saw the documentary on Channel 4 about rape gangs over
this.
We
want to blow that little trumpet now, do we? Yeah, okay.
There was a real issue.
Let's get that dog whistle out, shall we? Yeah.
Well, she was booted out of Keir Starmer's government, only to then come back weeks later as the left wing of the Labour Party installed her as deputy leader. Well, look, if you want my perspective on it, and I don't think this will be a surprise to Bill, who's sitting on my panel, I think the future seems a little bit grim. But Starmer's leadership, let's be honest, is unnoticed, a little bit like some other politicians in the country. And one of those politicians in that cabinet that we've just spoke about is likely to become our next Prime Minister. So, with rumours swirling that they're all gauging support in their party, which one do you think my panel would prefer as the Prime Minister of the country?
Every time you're online, your money and your identity are at risk. Scams now make up nearly 40% of all crime in the UK. That's thousands of attacks every single day. In Britain, someone has their identity stolen every 2 minutes, leaving victims with wrecked finances and years of stress. The threat is real, and you could be next. ExpressVPN is your shield against criminals. It locks down your devices, hiding your personal information and financial details from hackers, scammers, and anyone else looking to exploit you. So whether you're checking your bank, shopping, or just browsing, ExpressVPN makes you invisible to prying eyes trying to steal your money and your identity. ExpressVPN shields your data with military-grade AES 256 encryption. That's the same standard trusted by the US government to guard classified information. This is the highest level of online security you can get. So don't wait for disaster. Secure up to 14 devices at once and get powerful password protection. Real support is available 24/7 because cybercrime never sleeps. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off ExpressVPN plus 4 months extra for free. Every moment you hesitate is another moment you're exposed. Protect your money and protect your identity. Get ExpressVPN right now.
Talking of my brilliant panel, I am joined by businessman and activist Adam Brooks, former Labour Minister Bill Rammell, and political commentator Alice Grant. Welcome, all of you. Welcome to the show. Last show before Christmas. We've got some pictures here on the desk, and in a few minutes, I'm going to ask the panel to pick the picture of the cabinet member or one of the top Labour politicians they think is going to be Prime Minister. But Adam, I'll start off with you. From all of the so-called little bids that are going on behind closed doors at the moment. I've mentioned quite a raft of Labour cabinet ministers there. Do you think that Keir Starmer's on his last legs?
Yes. I've just wrote a Substack on that, to be honest, and why he's collapsed and why Labour have collapsed. He is the most robotic, soulless Prime Minister that I've ever seen in this country. Has no personality. You cannot warm to him. I failed to even meet a Labour voter that likes Keir Starmer. He's atrocious. He's like, soulless. So look, his days are numbered, and I'm going to tell you why soon. Something that I've heard within the Labour Party. He will be gone. But these pictures of the people in front of me, these horrify me. That any one of these could be the Prime Minister. It's not the best of a bad bunch. It's who's the least dangerous out of a really dangerous bunch. It's really bad, mate. It's really bad.
Alice, what about you? Do you think Keir Starmer's days are numbered, or is this all hyperbole?
Labour are polling on 18%. Reform are on 29%. Reform is a party that was basically built by Nigel Farage in an extremely short space of time. That just shows you how bad the situation is. They can't keep it together. They can't inspire confidence from voters. Keir Starmer, as was pointed out, is simply insipid, doesn't stand for anything. That's not going to attract any votes in the next election. And hopefully, this is the issue, Alex. Your exposition was just wonderful. I was just sitting there like, what are we going to do? But I really fear for the future of this country. It's already been such a terrible start. Doesn't look promising.
Bill, I'm sure you're going to disagree with all of us here and say it's been going exceptionally well and that the government are... No, but go on. Do you think that the Prime Minister... being realistic, right? And if the Prime Minister was doing a good job, I think it would be very hard for me to sit here and have all these criticisms of him. And I do think the Prime Minister's approval rating is through the floor. He's the most unpopular Prime Minister in history, according to some polling. Is there any chance that next year, if local elections go ahead, he's able to save his job?
Well, I know you don't want me to say this. I actually think he will still be Prime Minister this time next year. And don't believe me or any of us, we're all partisan on this table.
True.
I was listening yesterday to the Radio 4 Week in Westminster programme. 3 journalists across the political spectrum, every one of them predicted Starmer would still be Prime Minister this time next year. But I would be the first to admit the next 5 to 6 months are critical, and the government has got to deliver. It's got to deliver on the cost of living, and there were lots of measures in the budget to help with that, but people have got to feel it in their pockets. Further progress on reducing NHS waiting times and tackling the small boats crisis, and hugely importantly, a compelling narrative to go with that. And I think that's what's been sadly lacking for the government since it came to power. Yeah,
communication is critical in government. I totally agree. I think the comms have been absolutely horrendous at the bare minimum. Should we go for a little vote? Right, and Bill, I know you think Keir Starmer's going to be around, but I'm going to ask you just to hypothetically say Keir Starmer has resigned. One person out of this group here that you've got, including Angela Rayner, who's not a cabinet minister at the moment, But let's just assume she's coming back because that's what Keir Starmer said. Who are you picking, Adam, as your Prime Minister?
You said I've got a wild card after, so
yeah, I do.
I'm holding my nose to the, I don't even want to touch these people, right? But look, I'm holding my nose and we're streeting, OK? Because I think out of most of these on here, he's the least dangerous option. If he allows the puberty blockers to go through on children, I think he's going to become public enemy number one. That's my opinion. But I have a wild card, which I'll tell you after. We're going to talk about that in a minute. I think this other person will be the Prime Minister within the next 5 months. OK. Alice, how about you? Who are you picking?
Agreed very much with Adam on anti-puberty blocker West Streeting. However, since you've already cast your vote, I'll have to very shamefully and hesitantly stick up Shimon Mahmood. Let me explain. When she was Lord Chancellor, she did give quite a good speech in Strasbourg in the European Court of Human Rights, basically saying you have overreached your remit, that human rights is now encumbering states from being able to enact decisions in immigration. Okay. So that rhetoric was very welcome from me. Obviously not doing much practically and absolutely useless as Home Secretary, but I'll go for that speech. All right, OK, so you've gone for Shabana Mahmood. Bill, who would you pick out of the current bunch I've offered you there? Lord help me, I'm going to agree with Adam Brooks. Look, there's one thing this show does very well. We end up finding consensus. He's agreeing with a far-right grifter.
I don't think there is going to be a change, but if there were, West Streeting is by far Labour's best communicator. He talks human. He's got a fantastic backstory in terms of his own life, which is really compelling, and he's a genuine reformer. Interesting. OK, well, now, look, I'm going to give you the opportunity to pick a wild card, the one that you might not think that you would like, but what you think the Labour Party membership will likely vote for, or who you think is the most likely person to win.
So I have some inside information here from 2 Labour sources. This is an exclusive. That within the next 8 weeks, a Labour MP will be stepping down to make way for a by-election for Andy Burnham. So you heard it here first. A Labour MP is going to step down and Andy Burnham will be running a by-election alongside the May elections. Interesting. And for me, that's why he's going to be the next Prime Minister, probably June or July. OK. Obviously, we can't confirm this, but Adam's pitching his bets on it. We'll look forward to May if those elections happen, and Adam can see if the source was right or wrong. Alice, who do you think the Labour Party membership would vote for? I think they'd vote for West Streeting. You think they'd vote for West Streeting, do you? Yeah, he's probably a bit more normal than the rest. As was explained earlier, but, they're pushing Angela Rayner so hard despite all the absolute let's have a look. Hold up, Anne. We got a nice picture of Angela there. It's a lovely picture of Angela. There you go. Yeah. But despite everything that she's messed up on, they're still so intent on publicising her, making her seem approachable. All the media interviews after her tax scandal. So I think they're going to push her quite hard. Interesting. Well, she's got that memoir coming out. Bill, who do you think the Labour Party membership would vote for as leader? Well, let me recover my credibility by now disagreeing with Adam. My sources are better than yours, Bill. You wait. They're genuinely not, and I understand the Labour Party constitution and how it works. It's not going to be Andy Burnham. One, because the National Executive Committee, where Keir Starmer's got a ruling majority, would have to endorse him as a candidate, and that's not going to happen. Secondly, and I say this hesitatingly, it would be a tough ask for Labour to win any by-election at the moment. So it's just not going to happen. In terms of the wild card, I think it is Angela Rayner. I think it's going to be very difficult for her, having resigned from the government or being forced to resign because of her tax affairs. But she is a really compelling politician who connects with people, so she would be the wild card for me. So I agree with you, Bill. I think it will be Angela Rayner. And I think it will be Angela Rayner for a multitude of reasons, and I'll tell you why now. One, they are desperate. You speak to so many front-bench Labour MPs, they are desperate for a woman to lead their party. They can't keep on going on electing white men. They've said it themselves. Angela Rayner's a woman, if you hadn't noticed. I know they can't always define what a woman is,
But we know for sure that Angela Rayner is a woman. Secondly, working class roots, that sits very, very well with the Labour Party at the moment. And of course, you know, this famous fallout with Keir Starmer has given her space away from the government, which obviously now she is going to be building support in the background while the cabinet ministers won't have the privilege of doing that. I think you're going to see Prime Minister Angela Rayner next year. That's my bet to you, Bill.
God help